The first single from the latest Pixies album, Trompe le Monde, is Head On, of course a cover of the Jesus and Mary Chain song. Black Francis, why did you cover this one?
Well, I guess the main reason is a station in Los Angeles used to play it many times a day. When we were recording Bossa Nova, we used to listen to it in the car a lot on the way to our Van Nuys practice space.
Now, do you feel a certain kinship with the Mary Chain, perhaps, that the surf thing shows up in both your musical repertoire?
Well, I would like to think that we're kind of like a surf band. They're kind of like a surf band.
Although perhaps more obviously on Bossa Nova than... There isn't too much surf on Trompe le Monde.
No. Well, there was, but we didn't record. Well, we practiced it, but we didn't record it.
What made you delete it at the last minute?
I think we had to go tour. I think that was the main reason.
You just ran out of time?
Exactly.
Okay. All right, lots more coming up from the Pixies. In fact, more of the Pixies right now. This is the video for Head On.
For our encore selection, we'd like to do a song by the Jesus and Mary Chain. It's called Head On. Catching sparks off you, and all I ever got from you was all I ever took from you. In the world you're tired of pain, and I wouldn't feel no shame, and there's nothing holding me today. Makes you wanna feel, makes you wanna try, makes you wanna blow the stars in the sky. And I'm taking myself to the dead part of town, where all my troubles can't be solved. Good night.
Do you think of the Pixies as a fringe band?
Yeah, I think we are. Well, we don't sell that much, you know. But I guess, like, Jade's Addiction, you would consider them kind of fringy, but they sell a lot. But we don't sell any. Well, we sell a little bit, you know. And we don't have the typical themes, pop themes. Well, I guess we do, but they're, you know, they're not covered up and stuff, but they're just there's different stories, I guess, to bring home the same point, you know. Instead of the look in your eyes, the light of your life, I love you for eternity, oh baby, kiss me please. Instead of that stuff, you know, the typical stuff, the same thing would be done, but instead of it's like you mass, oh kiss me, kiss me. So maybe it's kind of a fringy way to present the same boring repetitions, themes that occur throughout time.
At one point you said that you didn't want other people in the band to write, that you wouldn't allow them to evolve that way because it was your first band and you were the writer. Do you still feel that way?
Yes, absolutely.
Are you an egotist?
And a control freak.
I think that I did the first single, and we were like kind of, you know, new to it, and I think that after I sang the first single, and he kind of thought, well, hey, this is just supposed to be a little gimmick here. She's not supposed to be a real singer, you know what I mean? So I think he kind of didn't like all the attention diverting. Now it's kind of, I'm more Bill Wyman-ish than anything else, you know?
Hey everybody, welcome to another classic album deep dive series. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the greatest bands of the late 80s and early 90s, the Pixies, and their fourth full-length studio album, Trompe Le Monde, released in 1991. The Pixies had been formed in 1986 by rhythm guitarist Black Francis and lead guitarist Joey Santiago. They placed an ad in the paper for a bass player. The only one who showed up was Kim Deal, who had never played bass guitar before. She won the audition and she picked up the bass. And for a short period of time, her sister Kelly was on drums, but then they ended up recruiting David Lovering to fill the drum kit. Their debut EP, Come On Pilgrim, was released in 1987. Their first full-length album, Surfer Rosa, was released in 1988 and basically changed the landscape of alternative rock.
And this I know, his teeth as white as snow. What a gas it was to see him walk her every day into a shady place. With her lips she said, it's high, 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 let's have that. It's high, 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 let's have that. It's high, 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 let's have that.
Along with Sonic Youth, the Pixies really were pioneers of the loud, aggressive, and then soft, then loud, aggressive, and soft. They really vacillated very brilliantly in that style. Also, their songs were very melodic. You hear elements of surf music, elements of 60s pop, punk rock. They really ran the gamut. And the Pixies, unfortunately, were never fully appreciated during their original lifetime as a band from roughly 1986 to 1993. In the U.S., as much as they were overseas. They had a much bigger following, a much better reputation overseas than they ever did in America, very unfortunately.
In America, they just didn't ignite people the way that they ignited them in Europe. There was such a lot of sludge in America at the time. I think Pixies had a real hard time pushing their way through to the surface. Now, the two chief singer-songwriters in the band were Black Francis and Kim Deal. Kim Deal contributing less than Black Francis, who is a self-described control freak. And by their fourth album, Kim Deal had already formed her side band, The Breeders, and that was taking up a lot of her creative energy. So on Trompe Le Monde, you do not have much in the way of contributions from Kim Deal. But nonetheless, it is still one of the greatest albums of the 1990s and a classic album in every sense of the word. The album opens with the title track, Trompe Le Monde, which is only a minute and a half long, but it is such a pure power pop, aggressive, heavy masterpiece. It's a very brief song, but you can already hear how they would go on to influence a lot of the early alternative grunge bands like Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, even Radiohead.
great melody and catchy as all hell. The next track, Planet of Sound, has a very heavy, twangy bass riff. It's got vocals that are very distorted, a chorus that is pure sludge, very heavy track. I love the very unique, almost underwater effect of this song. Next song is Alec Eiffel, and this one, out of all the songs, reminds me the most of the Ramones. It's just got that Ramones 70s punk kind of vibe to it, a little bit updated from the 90s. Lyrics seem to be about some kind of architect who has built a miniature replica of the Eiffel Tower that nobody asked for. At least, anyway, that's my interpretation of it. Another song heavily propelled by the bass. The fourth song, The Sad Punk, is definitely the heaviest, most thrashy song on the album. Sounds like a nod to punk rock and also thrash rock at the same time. I think this is probably the most high-intensity song the Pixies recorded. Head On is a cover of the Jesus and Mary chain of all things, for crying out loud. The arrangement sounds very close to the Jesus and Mary chain song with a little bit of a Pixie spin on it. Interesting that this was the first single. It actually got to number 6 on the modern rock charts. But if you didn't know, you could definitely be fooled into thinking that this was a Black Francis composition. The next song is UMass, and this title refers to the University of Massachusetts, where Black Francis and Joey Santiago both dropped out of to become musicians and start the Pixies. It has very much, to me anyway, it sounds like a mid-70s kind of a glam punk rock sound to it. I love that retro grittiness to it, but another fantastic song. next track is Palace of the Brine, and this has a very heavy swagger to it. That's a thing that kind of stands out from what would become the grunge sound over the next couple of years. The way that the Pixies differentiated from that grunge sound like you had with Nirvana and Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam. There's this underlying swagger to all of these songs. They have kind of a snotty retro punk groove to them. You can bob your head and dance to these songs, and yet they're still tremendously heavy. This song reminds me of the sound that R.E.M. was going for on the Monster album about 4 years afterwards. Letter to Memphis is a 3-minute heavy power pop masterpiece. One of the greatest songs that the Pixies ever recorded. It's a great love song. It's heavy. It's melodic. You got great singing by Black Francis. Definitely the highlight of this album. Dream of the Olympus Mons kind of reminds me a little bit of the Cars. It's one of the more understated tracks on the album. Definitely kind of has a moody vibe to it. Black Francis sings it a bit like Lou Reed, which gives it kind of a Velvet Underground flavor too. But something about this reminds me of the Cars. I don't know if it's the mellowness of it, but a really cool track. I like this one a lot. Space, I Believe In is one of those songs where it's like, yeah, Nirvana totally ripped off the Pixies, particularly on the Nevermind album, where I think you hear it more than any other album, because right here they balance the great heaviness, excellent guitar playing, and then it gets very mellow in the verses and then heavier in the choruses, and that balance of heaviness and the bassiness of the verses too. You definitely hear what influenced Nirvana. Subculture is pure punk attitude by way of Iggy and the Stooges or the New York Dolls. I love, again, the swagger in this song, and I love how Black Francis can sound so different. He affects a different personality from song to song. This song is just great. It's snotty, it's defiant, a very cool I don't give a fuck attitude to this song that I love.
Something about this song. This is a song about something there. We did the clubs with ass. I was hoping to have her in a sack. I was looking handsome. She was looking like an erotic vulture. I was all dressed in black, she was all dressed up in black. Everything was fine down here, what you call it here, call it what you will here. Way down in this subculture.
Distance Equals Rate is only a minute and a half long. Not a whole lot to this song. The vocals are shouted. It's got a strident beat. Pure attitude, not one of my favorites on the album. I'm not saying I don't like the song, but it's just very brief, and it doesn't go very far in its brief duration, but it's just got that punk attitude that carries the song along. Lovely Day reminds me a little bit of It's the End of the World as We Know It and I Feel Fine from R.E.M. The vocals sound like Iggy Pop to me, and there's a tension to this song that I really love. I think a lot of it has to do with the guitar playing, but it kind of puts you on edge a little bit. There's sort of an ominous feel to this song. Very heavy, very punk-like, but I like this one a lot. It's interesting, the song is called Lovely Day. Not really much lovely in the true sense about this song. Motorway to Roswell is another retro punk sounding song. They just don't make punk like this anymore. And don't give me that Green Day bullshit. This was kind of the end of an era. You really had the Pixies trying to revive punk. All these songs have a punk attitude to them. And they sound so authentic. They sound so sincere. A song like this really makes me lament the fact we haven't had a band who has sounded like, I mean, you've got bands like the Hives and whatever, but they just don't approximate the true spirit of garage rock and punk rock the way that the Pixies do on this album. And this song in particular highlights that. The Navajo note is an amazing way to close out the album. You have surf guitar on here. You've got abrasive guitar. You've got fantastic bass. So many interesting parts to this song. It feels in many parts like it's going to just fall to pieces, but it doesn't. They hold it all together. It's moody. It's cinematic. It really is a tour de force. I love the way they end this album. So, have you heard the album? What do you think of it? If not, are you interested enough? Maybe you'll go check it out, maybe even buy it. I don't know. Pixies, love the Pixies. Wish more people were talking about them. But anyway, that's my deep dive. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for hanging in there with me, and take care.